Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends alike. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin, and we have a friend of the show, Leo from Geekly Goods, with us as well today. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing the latest, the greatest superhero movie, one of the greatest superhero movies out there, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And before we begin today's podcast, or before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast around on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or a seasoned listener and you guys listen to the show, let us know what you think. You know, follow us on YouTube. Excuse me, not YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. So, Leo, I want to, invite him back on. How you doing, man? You doing good?
Hey, dude, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back on. Ready to talk some Suicide Squad, guys. The Suicide Squad, excuse me.
Yes.
Definitely
Very
not
important.
that 2016, but
I don't know.
2021, baby. This is a great start to the superhero movie chain we're about to go down, because we got Shang-Chi around. I mean, if we're just talking Marvel and DC, we got Shang-Chi coming. We got Spider-Man coming, Eternals. We've got something dang near every month. I mean, if you include Hawkeye, and they said Miss Marvel was going to be in this year. But I don't know. I mean, Hawkeye is going to be in November, so I wonder if they're going to delay Miss Marvel. But there's so much around the corner. Like, so much. And man, it's all so exciting, and this is just a bombastic start to all of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree there, man. I think this is the only other DC extended universe movie that is coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got two good DC movies this year.
Zack Snyder's Justice League and this. Yep.
Yeah, both are rated R. That's something Warner Brothers should be looking into. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Devin, my co-host, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm officially all moved in.
Woo-hoo!
There's still lots of boxes here, but
congratulations.
Thank you. It's
nice.
exciting.
It's a good thing we don't upload these. We only do audio, so
yeah. It's very ugly.
Yeah. So you're all like officially moved in. You're kind of just moving some stuff.
I got everything back in here. So,
woo, man, moving has to be one of the worst things anyone can ever experience. Like, whether you're moving into a new apartment or moving into like your forever home, it's always a pain, but it's worth it at the end.
Yeah, I have my own office now. It's nice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got a nice little 2-bedroom. So I forgot about that. Yeah, that's really nice. You making it to a studio. There you go.
Yeah, got an air mattress waiting for you.
Behind you.
Wait, what'd you say, Devin?
Got an air mattress waiting for you here if you're ever here.
Oh, dude, honestly, I got some air mattresses here. I got some family in town. They're staying with me. So, yeah, had to pull that plug. Actually, I needed to do it either way, because you never know.
They come in handy.
It really, really does, like 100%. But yeah, guys, so all of our listeners out there, like we said, we're going to be diving into the Suicide Squad. The way it'll be broken down is we'll give our initial reactions first. Since the movie is still, as of today, still the box office, it's a Sunday evening, this will be out on Monday, but we'll give people a chance to kind of listen to our first initial thoughts, non-spoiler, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it all. So without further ado, we're going to get into our Suicide Squad review after this short break.
You gotta be kidding me. You're gonna risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester.
This coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head. We don't leave one of our own behind.
Hopefully Harley's still alive.
No funny business, Colonel. These are dangerous people.
Team 2 is clear to go.
Fire up. 3, 2.
What are you guys doing?
What?
We're here to save you.
You were gonna save me?
It was a really good plan, too.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
That's patronizing.
I'm so sorry. Harley Quinn.
Bloodsport.
And we are back from our short break. We are here talking the Suicide Squad, directed and written by James Gunn, and cast Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn herself, Idris Elba as Bloodsport. And we have Peacemaker, played by John Cena. And the story is as follows. Supervillains Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and a collection of nutty ex-cons or cons at the Belle Reve prison join a super secret, super shady task force excuse me, my gosh, as they are dropped off at a remote enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. So, man, oh man, I do apologize. Was reading that one without my glasses, which kind of shows my age just a little bit, but I'm not there yet. Anyway, let's pass the torch around here. I wanted to give Leo a chance to talk about the Suicide Squad. I've seen it twice. Devin, how many times have you seen it?
Just the one.
Just the one. And Leo, I believe, has seen it 3 times so far. So I'm going to pass the torch to him.
Yeah, I'll go last. I've seen it the most times.
All right.
He's a veteran.
All right. So let's do 1, 2, 3. So Devin, you go, and then I'll go, and then Leo can go.
So initial reactions, I definitely had a good time. It was very, very rated R, which I'm glad James Gunn had the opportunity to do that. There's some unexpected things that pop up throughout that make it very rated R. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I liked.
Oh my god!
We'll get into that, I guess, in a couple minutes here, maybe.
yes, we will.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I really liked the characters that he went with. One of the things that James Gunn mentions about the Suicide Squad is just he likes choosing like the bad guys that aren't even good enough at being bad, so they kind of have like that relatable, like redeemable quality to them. He did a good job with that with these random characters that he went with. I mean, Peacemaker, Bloodsport. I definitely never heard of most of these. I did hear of the detachable kid, arms fall off guy, or whatever his name is. But yeah, I really like Idris Elba's Bloodsport. Did not know how badass Bloodsport was until seeing this. He had a really cool power set. Hate John Cena Peacemaker, but that's the point. I think everyone does. And of course, Harley Quinn is always going to steal the show. I find it really interesting that Harley Quinn is kind of the star of the DCEU. Not Batman, not Superman, but
or Wonder
Harley
Woman
Quinn.
for that factor. Yeah. I mean, there's been 3 movies with, Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie in that role. And I mean, from the DCEU perspective, we've only seen Batman technically twice, if you count like Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I like to put Justice like Josh Whedon's and Zack Snyder's. It's just because like it is the same story once. It's obviously more fleshed out, and then we also see him in Batman v Superman for a second there. But yeah, Devin, I would have to echo pretty much everything you were saying. Like I absolutely loved it. Like I went in, I didn't have any expectations. I never like read anyone's reviews until after I've seen the movie, or watch anyone's reviews like on YouTube, anything like that. But like just going in, I was just genuinely like, it felt like a breath of fresh air. And I was just like, I was almost tearing up. I'm like, this is beautiful. Like it is one of those, like it is one of my favorite comic book movies. I've seen it twice already. Saw it once, standard viewing, second IMAX. I'll get into those. I had a little bit of a misstep with the IMAX, but I'll get into that here in a little bit. But other initial reactions, like the entire team, like this is a movie where you can't get attached to everyone. It's kind of like in Game of Thrones, you have your favorites, you have your favorite heroes on the Suicide Squad. You have your favorite characters in Game of Thrones. And of course, yes, I relate everything to Game of Thrones, but no one is safe in the Suicide Squad as in Game of Thrones. You can't get too attached. And this movie really, really proved it. Had no clue who was actually going to, live or die. You kind of have for some characters, you're like, okay, well, maybe this person and this person might survive. But honestly, you just never know. And I love how it kind of kept us guessing. Some deaths were more quicker than others, but they were all, an on-screen presence where it's like, okay, you can count X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. This person dead. But like I said, I love the writing. The jokes landed when I first went to go see this movie. My first audience and I went with, they had a ball with it. My team lead was there. We both went to the same showing. He took his girlfriend, and it's very hard for him to please him when it comes to film. But he he sat a few rows in front of me, and we got up after the movie was over, and he just looked back to me and just gave me like the nice little thumbs up. I'm like, oh, he actually liked it. So I was really glad that he enjoyed it. And it was just a fun, thrilling ride. And I'm really glad that they went rated R this time around, because I don't think it could have worked PG-13. Like, and this is a hot take, at least for me. I think with the DCEU or Extended Universe, for those who don't know the short name for that, I think they should go all rated R. I really do, because I mean, DC is a more mature universe, and that doesn't necessarily make Marvel a non-mature universe. It's just, you see it in the comics and whatnot. It is a more gritty world. Like, you have these characters with these complicated pasts and these adult themes and whatnot. It just works so well for DC. But I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I cannot wait to own this one on Blu-ray, add it to my collection. So I'm going to pass the torch over, shuffle on over here to Leo, Mr. 3-time Suicide Squad champ over here. Give us your thoughts.
So are we diving into spoilers yet?
Not yet. Just give us like your initial reactions, and then we'll get into spoilers.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this movie was wild. It was crazy. It was the blockbuster that DC desperately needed. It really hit a lot of great beats. And look, I understand that there are some similar beats to Suicide Squad. I mean, let's be real. They have the same title damn near. So, and it's the same kind of idea. But I mean, unexpected deaths, very Game of Thrones-esque. When they say don't get attached, they mean it. It was all over posters, and it really did come out in the movie. Hard R. There is a lot of blood. There's a lot of gore. This is literally like, remember when we were like 10, 11, 12, first getting into comics, and it was like, all right, when you saw like, you hit one of those like later mature teen comics, and it's like blood is coming out of enemies getting punched and stuff. That's the type of stuff you wanted back then. And now you're getting it on screen, and it's just so beautifully shot. It's awesomely executed. Just a wonderful, wonderful film. And I didn't expect it to be as feel good in its themes of friendship, and especially of bonding between family members. You know, they really do make them like a family. And it's just the charm of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's that similar charm to where you bring together these different vagabonds, rogues, villains, whatever you want to call them. You bring them together, and they just make a perfect synergy, and they make the best family that they could. I mean, I think I like this more than Zack Snyder's Justice League, to be honest.
Well,
I like this more.
Yeah. I would actually.
This movie made me care about rats. Like, that's really saying something. A rat named Sebastian, I felt deeply for.
Oh my gosh, Sebastian is the best.
Oh my gosh, he was literally one of the stars of the show. Absolutely. But yeah, I wanted to give this time really quick. Any other quick initial reactions before we get into spoilers? And let's just we're gonna
I just found out the voice of the rat is the guy who voices the clone troopers.
Really?
Oh snap!
D. Bradley Baker.
Oh, I did not know that. See, Devin's over here with all these great little.
He was just making little rat noises, I guess.
Very
squeaking while waving. I just got to say, the action in this movie is absolutely incredible. I think.
Oh yeah.
James Gunn knows what he's doing with comic book action. He knows how to make it big. He knows how to even make it clean and small. Like one scene we'll get to later in the discussion where they're in the forest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And all that. Yeah, we'll get to that a little later. I won't spoil, but I was just very impressed with how visually pleasing the action is in this movie, and how well it's executed and how smooth it is.
I love the transitions, like the comic book, like page turn type transitions, where it was like, meanwhile.
Yeah. The font was amazing. Like the way they put those title cards on in the actual scene. It was like, one was the fire, One of them was like smoke in the air.
Yeah.
Really well done.
The blood.
Yeah. Oh my God. To open the movie.
Yeah, literally to open the movie. And it really just kept us guessing because it's like, I watched both of the red band and the green band trailer when they first came out. Other than that, I didn't really go back and watch anything, but like, it really just, I was trying to piece together what was happening. And then like, even during the beginning of the movie, it really just does a 180 and it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I see where they're going. And I'm here for it. And I absolutely love it. It's 100%. Man, it's just so freaking good. But without further ado, I know we've been gushing over all this stuff. We're excited. We're trying to get, into this universe. So without further ado, we're going to get into our spoiler section of the Suicide Squad. So that is your first spoiler warning. Again, that is your second spoiler warning for the Suicide Squad. If you haven't seen it, turn back, come back and listen to the podcast and let us know your thoughts by leaving us a 5-star rating and review of our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. So, gentlemen, it's time. It's time to just go all in. So, man, I honestly don't even know where to begin because there's so many things. So I guess we can start off with who died, and then we can kind of
that opening.
The opening. It's what did you guys think of that? Because he just rushed in. It's like, okay, like we're here, we're going to get this mission started. And it was just like, oh, like, okay, we're doing this like now. There wasn't a lot of buildup, but I like how they kind of did it with Birds of Prey where, they gave us a section of the story and then they turned around. It's like, oh, this happened earlier. Kind of like the Quentin Tarantino-esque vibe when it comes to directing, which I really, really love because I love getting two sides, of a story and where and how they meet up. But let's pass it over to Leo. Man, I honestly don't know where to begin when it comes to this. So I guess what I'll ask you is the people who survived, did you expect that group between King Shark, Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, and oh my gosh, well, later on we find out with the if you guys stayed around for Leo stayed around for the post-credit scene with Rick Flag. And then I believe and Ratcatcher too, of course. Did you expect that outcome, or who were you expecting to live, and who were you expecting to make it out?
So I definitely thought Bloodsport was gonna make it. I thought maybe Gunn would get daring and kill Harley Quinn, but he didn't. A lot of the other people, I guess I kind of expected. I thought Polka Dot Man was gonna make it. I was a little surprised.
He almost
didn't end up making. He was very close there for a while, but I thought it was a very creative and cool way to open up the movie with that many deaths. I mean, I pretty much look at it as the Suicide Squad was that team. Task Force X is who we follow throughout the movie. Because let's be real, they went into the beach. Amanda Waller sent them there to be the distraction. They're the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the other team is Task Force X, and they're headed for the facility. But I loved the way he killed some of these characters.
I'm kind of surprised Captain Boomerang died right away.
Yeah,
he at least has a background.
Yeah. I didn't think he would make it, but I thought he would make it further than this.
Yeah.
Like he was in the original. I figured he will make it a little bit further, but no.
Pete Davidson, of course. Everyone knew he was dying right away.
Oh, yeah. I knew he was getting popped.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't even matter what his character's name is. He's Pete Davidson. We got Javelin. He had a couple funny lines. Love TDK. He was great.
The detachable kid.
His arms just floating to the enemies and just annoying them.
Swiss cheesed. He got Swiss cheese, y'all. Like they just blew bullet holes through him.
Yeah.
But the kills were stylish. They were over the top. They were funny. And to start a movie that way, wow, what a way to just just blow you right in the face. Right when the movie starts.
Literally, Pete Davidson's face gets blown off.
Yep.
Yeah, it has been like, oh my god, I really like what Leo was saying, that like there's, since there's two force or two teams here, there is the Suicide Squad and then there is Task Force X, not S. I don't know. My gosh.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about it that way.
Yeah, I didn't think, because I was like, oh yeah, like, it's two Suicide Squads, but no, like there is, like Leo said, one just gets completely mowed down. Besides, I mean, our girl Harley, she's gonna make it out 100%. She's just running for her life, whatnot. And R.I.P. to Weasel, by the way.
Well,
Well,
you sure?
Well,
You sure about that?
I know, no, I saw the ending, but oh my gosh, if that wasn't the best opening to like just a superhero movie where it's like a team up where, you see everyone's like, we're about to depart, it kind of reminded me of the, oh my gosh, from Deadpool 2 when they're talking,
Yeah.
well, yeah, the whole helicopter thing, but that was
Yeah.
more
With
comical.
Brad Pitt as Invisible Guy.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
No
that was
little
more
Brad
comical.
Pitt 2 seconds in this movie.
Whew, man, oh man. But yeah, we see the Weasel can't swim, and it's really funny how Amanda Waller, she puts together these teams, and then she finds out like small little things along the way that she didn't know before, like the Weasel can't swim, and then Bloodsport's like huge rat phobia, where like that was just one of some of the best line delivery. Like it was so fluid, and just it felt like a natural conversation through and through, and nothing felt forced really. And I went, like I said, when I went to go see it the second time, I saw it in IMAX, beautifully, just wow, like it looked amazing. And I was trying to find a few flaws, and I guess like a con for me would have been like, I guess we would have spent like a little bit more time with like maybe Captain Boomerang or just some of the other characters that kind of like literally just die like during the very, very beginning. But it was hard for me to actually find like some.
One of our friends was complaining about there not being enough continuity. And we were just like, look at the title of the movie and you're expecting continuity.
And Leo.
Well, there's like a little bit in there too. I mean,
there's some with Peacemaker at the end.
And Boomerang in the beginning when Harley walks into the helicopter.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, Boomer, you're back.
But it's
Yeah.
like for you to expect continuity in a Suicide Squad movie, it's weird.
It's so Leo, it's our friends that they go to the movies like I would say pretty often, but it's like every movie they go to see, they end up complaining about it. So it's like we don't even try to recommend movies to them anymore because they went to go see Old, and like they're not going to like it. There's no way that. So I told them not to go see it because I knew they weren't going to like it, and they went to go see it, and then they didn't like it, and then we had to hear about it. They're like, "Why'd you guys you guys watch this?" It's like, I mean, well, yeah, it's kind of our job, but yeah, I can definitely understand with that. I guess I'll pass it over to you, Devin. Like, man, oh man, it's a wild ride. So the people that survived, did you have like a set amount of people? Do you think that were gonna make it throughout?
I went in with no expectations for survival. I was surprised that Rick Flag died at the end.
Mm-hmm.
There was someone behind me that like gasped when it happened. I was like, oh, someone's attached to Rick Flag somehow. I didn't know Rick Flag had fans, but he was really bad in the original one, but he was definitely better in this one. They gave him more like relatability.
Yeah, definitely. And Leo actually did for all the listeners out there, he did a live stream of who we would think would live or die. Leo, how accurate were we? Because I don't think.
Give me like 2 seconds. I can pull that up. No, there were some that were accurate.
Okay, I can't even remember who we chose. It was so late at night.
Let me double check on that. Here, come back.
Yeah, I would also say I just loved every scene with Harley Quinn in it. Like they were just so entertaining.
Yeah,
I loved her little side quest with the rich like king, where she kind of like fake fell in love with him and just ended his life right there. That was hilarious. I love when she escaped from the compound with all the flowers and everything. That was so amazing.
Oh, I was so intrigued to see how she was going to get out of that situation. And I didn't expect her to kill one of the Corto Maltese. And it's man, the entire film was just, it's not even like the fact that it's like joke after joke after joke. It's like, it does tell a story. And I think with Harley Quinn's growth throughout, you know, the 3 movies that Margot Robbie's been in, I think that she would probably come to that conclusion because she kind of saw, you know, a little bit of crazy there with the Corto Maltese. I'm blanking on the general's name, but he was supposed to be the president. And, you know, he's talking about like killing kids and stuff like that. And she's like, that's kind of a red flag. And she's like, you know, if your tastes in men are as bad as mine, and she was ranting on in this like kind of made sense of what she was saying because she's kind of been in that situation with the Joker before. So it's like, it's kind of like her way of saying like enough. But as much as, you know, we've seen throughout her growth, like she is sprinkled throughout the movie. Like I think she's in the movie a good amount. You know, I don't think that there wasn't like too less of her because I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, you know, she didn't get as much screen time. I'm like, I thought she got a pretty good amount of screen time. And, you know, it's a Suicide Squad movie, not the Harley Quinn show. So, you know,
I was also impressed by Ratcatcher too, because I came in not expecting to even like care at all about.
I thought maybe she was going to be dead.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the character or anything. So I just came in like, all right, I don't know who that is. I don't really care, but she was really good.
She was probably one of my favorite.
And her dad was Taika Waititi, and I love that.
Awesome cameo. Awesome cameo.
Snuck his way into another movie. Sorry, go ahead, Leon.
I was at the fan screening here in Denver that took place like a week before the movie came out. And as soon as Taika was in it, like everybody gasped. Oh my God.
I love that you were with people who know who he is because they definitely didn't know who he was in my theater.
Yeah, people were like shocked, me included, because I don't think that was him earlier in the movie. It was just some stand-in guy. And then they had Taika, and oh my God, like what a reveal. Yeah.
That was a really nice reveal there. And I really just the like, you know, going back to the action, it's like, you know, when they're you know, when the Suicide Squad themselves, they kind of, after I guess you can call the massacre at the beginning of the movie where, you know, some characters kind of get split up, you know, Rick Flag gets taken by the rebels and Harley Quinn gets taken by the Corto Maltese and like the government. And then, you know, Bloodsport and, you know, Ratcatcher and King Shark and everyone else, they kind of, and Peacemaker as well. We'll get into him a little bit, but I love it how, you know, when they're, you know, before going to, what was it, Jotunheim to destroy the evidence.
We haven't even brought up Starro yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll definitely get into him. I really love the scene in the movie where they're, I guess, not the rescue mission for Harley, but the rescue mission for Rick Flag, when, like, you know, they're just mowing down all these guys. And it's like, it almost seemed a little bit too easy. But I'm like, okay, you know, it is a Suicide Squad. You know, these are, these are people with like superhuman abilities and whatnot. So it should be somewhat easy for them. And then you get Peacemaker and Bloodsport, like having this, like, pretty much like a big, just, you know, like a show-offy type of
that.
Yeah.
It was kind of like Hobbs and Shaw vibes when they were just kind of
trying
to race down the building, and he takes the elevators and just trying to one up each other, be more macho than the other.
Yeah.
So for our predictions, we got everybody dead correct.
Wow.
Did we really?
Yep. Because Javelin's on there, TDK, Mongal, Savant, Blackguard, Rick Flag. The only one we got wrong was Harley Quinn. We put her on as dead.
We did. We thought
James would go really bold and just kill them off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even Margot Robbie said herself, like during an interview, she's like, I don't know when the next time I'm going to play this character. And was like, oh, is she dead? And it's like, well, no, she just, you know.
I thought King Shark was going to die at the end there. He's getting lit up.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, I was worried for him as well. But we got Boomerang on there and Polka Dot Man.
Ah, man, Polka Dot Man.
And we had Peacemaker under unknown, Bloodsport under unknown, Soul Soria under unknown. After having seen the movie, I was like, we maybe didn't even need to add her.
That was one weird part of the movie. Just that whole side plot just kind of felt like it didn't matter.
And she wasn't like any kind of superhuman or metahuman or anything. She just kind of was trying to liberate the city, which is fine, I guess, but
they didn't
like
put any
maybe too
focus on
major
her.
apart.
Have-
Oh, we
have
have
her-
Weasel under unknown. So I guess, I mean, that
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head, really.
Yeah, that really did. I think we did a pretty good job, Leo. I think that deserves a nice little.
Yeah, yep. Ratcatcher was under
Weasel in
resurrected.
action.
King
Wait.
Shark's under alive. Amanda
yeah.
Waller's under alive. Yeah, we pretty much got everybody right.
Wow, that's crazy. Sorry, Devin. What were you saying?
I was just curious as to what Weasel looks like in action. Like, what are his powers? I
Yeah,
want to see what that looks like.
that would have been cool to see because they said he killed 42 children or something like that.
He's
That was-
harmless.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I do agree with the rebels. Aside from the hilarious scene where they
get all murdered,
they murder all the lookout people,
and then the guy's just hanging dong and gets nailed in the head, in the top head.
My God.
They finally get to the hut, and then they just open up, and then he's just sitting there like, oh hey guys, and she's like, what the hell happened? Why didn't my men warn you were coming? They're like, I didn't see anybody out there. I was like,
Then
no.
King Shark burps out a body part.
And then Polka Dot Man, he's like, I pretended they were my mother and I killed them. Which
so good.
yeah, but I kind of want to just open up the floor to you guys. Of course, with spoilers that we kind of lifted that up. Any part of the movie you guys want to talk about, your pros, your cons. I guess we'll start with Leo.
Pros or cons, you said?
Yeah, or just your general thoughts overall.
Oh, yeah. So, oh man, I did not see the Rick Flag kill coming at all.
Right through the heart, literally.
Not at all, but yeah, right through the heart. I thought maybe he was going to make Peacemaker pass out and get out of there or something, but wow, very daring for him to be killed and then to turn around and kill Polka Dot Man 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
He really pulled off some unexpected kills in this one because I thought Polka Dot Man was definitely making it to the end. I was wondering if he was going to kill Harley, though. I thought maybe that would have been probably would have pissed off a lot of people, but I mean, it would have been unexpected. It would have been something crazy. But yeah. I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's a couple issues I have. There's some pacing issues I have, especially towards the end of the movie. I think unfortunately when Starro comes out, I think it's so late in the movie that it kind of took away from the moment a little. Yeah. Even though I loved the Starro design and I love the concept, I was almost bring him out earlier, 20, 25 minutes earlier. Did this really need to be 2:12? I don't think so, guys. I think we could have chopped this down to 150.
Yeah, probably.
Tops.
Yeah.
We could have cut to Starro a little bit earlier. But I mean, other than that, I know there's a little controversy about the Harley Quinn stuff. Do I think it was as good as the Birds of Prey version? No, but I did really like this Harley Quinn, and I love the action sequences. I mean, just incredible with the flowers, and the double guns, double heavy artillery, both sides, gunning and mowing down guys. I mean, that's her exact fighting style too. I mean, it's unpredictable. You can't see it coming. It's a very cool fighting style, and it was cool to see Margot Robbie in the role just really nailing it again. And I think she's just going to be, or at least I hope she will be, Harley Quinn for years and years and years and years to come. She is a great Harley Quinn. She's up there with Robert Downey Jr. and Hugh Jackman. It was a perfect casting, and DC found their Harley. Hold on tight, DC. Yeah. Do not let go, because she just did such a great job with Harley Quinn. She really gives it her all and gives it the best energy and makes her feel chaotic, psychotic, but also just extremely hyper and funny and likable and cunning and likable and charming. So it's she mixes all these great performances into one character. It's awesome, man. I really, really like this movie. The action's amazing, and man, Idris Elba's best in years.
Yes. Yes.
I was really surprised at how cool Bloodsport is because I didn't know anything about him going in.
Yeah.
So I was just like, he's just like Deadshot's replacement, kind of, but he's his own really cool character.
And can we just say like this is better than 2016? Like,
absolutely.
If you're not saying that, you're lying to yourself.
I seen somebody on Twitter filming themselves walking out of the theater.
Dude, man.
I couldn't with this movie. I couldn't take it.
Dude,
that's okay.
Oof.
More for us.
I just that blows my mind. Because when people are like you pay to go see a movie, and like even with me in my second showing when I went yesterday, I'm not sure what your guys' audiences were like, but I kind of touched on this with Leo earlier. We're sitting there, it's the previews, and the lady right in front of me, like off to the right a little bit, she's on her phone throughout the entire previews. I didn't say anything because I'm like, all right, it's previews, whatever. It's not the movie. If she reaches for it again during the movie, then I'll say something. And lo and behold, she does. So I was like, all right, like I didn't want to be, like rude about her or anything. So I kind of just reached over. I was like, hey, like you put your phone away. It's pretty, distracting. And she's like, oh, of course. And then she does it again. Like she was sneaking it in her purse. And I saw her. Then she looked back at me, and then she never took it out again. And then after that, her and her family, they were talking throughout the movie as if they were like just watching it at home on HBO Max. Since this is both a duality type movie, it's like it really just kind of drove me up the wall a little bit. But I didn't want to say anything because like it was my second time, but I didn't know who else in the theater, if it was like their first time or not. And I'm like, you pay for an IMAX showing, like $22 per person, like depending on if you have the AMC A-list or not. I'm assuming that they did because there was multiple of them. You paid at least $40 to see this movie, and you're talking through the whole thing, and it drove me insane. And there was another couple in front of me to the left who was looking at the couple to the right of them, like just giving them the stink eye because it was their first time. And they kind of like turned back. They're like, can you believe that? And I was like, once the movie was over, like I was like, I don't know. But I told them to stay after for the post-credit because they weren't sure. I was like, yeah, stay after.
It requires a fair amount of luck to get a good movie theater experience. Like,
yeah, it happens from time to time, but it's just, anyone out there listening, it's just common courtesy, like if you're going to be on your phone, like sit in the way back where no one can actually see you, or don't make a sound. And it's like people are there for, the immersion and like the experience. But other than that, I think my first audience when I saw this movie was a lot better than the second. I think the first audience, it being like a Thursday night, more people were laughing at the jokes. There were some jokes throughout the, throughout the movie where, the rats and whatnot, and Bloodsport saying, why he doesn't like rats and what have you. It's just, it was just great writing. And, with King Shark and him almost eating a rat catcher too. And their kind of bond there where, he had to say, hey, like, would you eat your friends? And, he's like, I don't have any friends, blah, 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 blah. And, and speaking Spanish and stuff. It was just such a great time, man. Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Yeah. This was actually a pretty excellent script bouncing off that. Like I loved that exchange between Bloodsport and his daughter. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. That was
God.
Great. Who
Just
was it?
F you back and forth. Fuck you.
I feel like I've seen her before, but I can't remember.
Storm Reed, yeah, she's been in some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. She did a great job. So like between, I guess, Deadshot and Bloodshot, because Will Smith not appearing in this movie, I really liked him in the 2016. I will say between him and obviously Margot Robbie, they were like the two shining stars, the two shining beacons of the original movie. But I actually wanted to bounce back to what Leo said earlier. What controversy were you talking about with Harley Quinn? I didn't really
really controversy necessarily, but I think there's a little divisive, like there's a little divide when it comes to the scene with the president.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
Liked it, and then others really didn't, and that's fine. We're all here to agree or disagree.
Yeah,
but
Okay, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't even notice that. I was like, I'm like, oh, it's just Harley Quinn, being impulsive, just being Harley Quinn. And then she's like, yeah, you kind of have to like go bye. That was a big gun that she had too. I was like, where did she find that at? That was a nice
For
little
real.
startling moment. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, oh, that's what Harley would do. So
She's
yeah.
I'm surprised that gun had a bullet in it.
Wowza. But what did you guys think of, I guess, just the big bat and like the big twist at the end? Because I really enjoyed it more so in this movie than the first one. The first one was like, okay, well, the whole Amanda Waller, like, oh, she's the person they're going to be rescuing. But this made a lot more sense because it was, essentially sending in like convicts to cover up the American trail of Starro.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of like Waller was the ultimate big bad at the end.
Yeah.
Not Starro.
Yeah, that is very true, because I think when Starro died, it said that it was fine, like, looking up at the stars or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it didn't really seem like it wanted to be saved, I guess. But well, Leah, what did you?
That's the thing with James Gunn and these characters. He just does such a good job of making them like redeemable in some way. Because even Starro, he was just a weird alien that got kidnapped and he was trying to escape. Like, it's not his fault. He was in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, he was ready to take that town over.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like he was just a little angry.
Yeah, when he was in the Presidente, he was ready to take over the town. That's
that
my
design,
town.
the design of him was so cool. Like, starfish are disgusting little creatures if you look at them like zoomed in like that.
Yeah.
They just look so weird, and they nailed that
Starro
part.
looked awesome.
Yeah, he did. I like how his big eye was just like a pool of water. And like, I thought Harley Quinn, when she went in with the javelin, and the javelin, by the way, that
was a cool joke line throughout.
Yeah, when she, man, oh man, he's like, you have to take this, do that. She was like, hello. I was like, oh my gosh, like Harley, Quinn's dead.
She shook him like, take it, do what?
She
take
told
it
me to do
where?
something special with it, but I don't know what. But she seemed very happy to see that javelin, but it was really cool. Like, I thought she died, like, when she went into Starro's eye, because they showed the blood. I was like, oh no, she's still alive. But I like you said, Leo, I seriously thought Harley was going to die. Because that would have, I really don't know how the audience would have reacted to that, because that would have been like, another great, like, how people say, Henry Cavill is like, our new Superman. And how, Margot Robbie, like, she is that character. Like, we can't really see anyone else playing her. So I thought it would have been very ballsy if they did. If this was like an Elseworld story, I would have been like, okay. But, we did find out later on, after the movie's release, that DC and James Gunn are definitely going to be working again with something else. But wanted to kind of ask you guys a question of like, what other, I guess, DC property would you like to see James Gunn cover? I know I've said Teen Titans because I think it would actually work, with the adolescence humor and whatnot. But I would need it to be rated R, honestly.
I feel like he might want some Superman action because he did Brightburn, right?
He produced
it.
Yeah, I think it was like his
definitely
production
familiar.
company was involved.
Yeah,
because that was basically a Superman like Elseworld story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really true. Leo, what about you? What would you like to see James Gunn direct next for Suicide Squad, or after Suicide Squad? Excuse me.
In a dream world, he would come and direct the entire. Well, since that's probably in the can already, the entire 4th season of Doom Patrol.
Ooh,
that'd be cool.
Be good.
Would be absolutely phenomenal. I think to bring him on and have him be the showrunner. And really take those characters and make their bonds even greater. But I know that's not going to happen. They don't have the budget for that. So movie-wise, I think it would be good to give him the Justice Society of America. I think that's another team of really quirky, weird characters that you could just, like Dr. Fate and Stargirl and Green Lantern Alan Scott. There's so many like kind of unknown characters, and he does really well with characters that aren't well known, and he knows how to really bring the humanity out of them. So I think it would be cool if he did Justice Society of America and continue that streak of building really lesser known heroes and villains.
In all honesty, I think DC should just give him the keys. Like, give him a Feige type role because they need it.
Ooh, I don't know about that. But hey, one more would be great. But I'm not sure.
Who else would you like to see in that Feige role, Leo?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I have no idea. I think they really missed out on, and I'm going to say it. They missed out on making Snyder that giving him that position, because I really like Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm not definitely not big on Batman versus Superman. I like Man of Steel, but I don't love it as much as others. Zack Snyder's Justice League I thought was absolutely amazing, and he had a plan for other Justice League. Like, they missed out. They missed out on somebody who really took this into their own hands, essentially, and really helped build the universe, or tried to. I mean, he produced Wonder Woman. Like, he was on the other movies. So
he was a producer on the Suicide Squad as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So him and Deborah.
It's like, okay, you guys really missed out. You had your Kevin Feige right there.
You did. Yeah. I would definitely 100% agree with you there, Leo. I think they let go somebody like super, super special when it comes to that. Like that. I mean, like, and just seeing because like it's just nice seeing his name like as executive producer, like, and it's not like, Zack Snyder needs to be like the director, because sometimes I feel like his visions are too grand, but I think him being in that like producer role, that Feige role, giving some of the idea like, hey, we want to make this kind of story for DC, and we want to do this and this, like, can you make it happen? It's like, absolutely. Like he really would have been perfect for that. And I mean, hey, Zach's going on doing more bigger and better things with or I can't really say better things, but he's doing his thing with Netflix right now, so he's got that deal. So he is working on other things, and I think it's nice for him to kind of take a break from the superhero genre, at least for now, see what else he has out there. It's it's been a long, crazy ride for him for sure, especially everything that happened with his family. But before we get into our scores, I wanted to ask you guys, gun to your head, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 or the Suicide Squad?
Guardians
1 for sure.
Okay.
Look,
okay.
I like the Suicide Squad, don't get me wrong, but there was just some kind of magic.
I was just to say, it was magical. It was special.
Yeah, that was just like one of those 1 in a million needle in a haystack type of moments.
He threaded the needle so perfectly throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I think, and I would agree with you guys, definitely. I think Guardians does win it by a landslide, not only for the story, I think for just, I mean, like, there are people who know about the Suicide Squad, but it is taking, a group of characters that aren't as well known in DC by, I guess, the general fans. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like he really turned it around. Like, nobody knew who these characters were. And
what else it's taking?
What?
A hit in the box office.
Oh, that's right. Well, how much is it? Yeah, because it's on HBO Max.
It was what, 25 million?
Yeah. And people are wondering if it's the name alone, the Suicide Squad taking a hit because it's so similar to Suicide Squad.
I think it's just a combination of the Delta variant and it being day and day on HBO Max.
Yep. That's a big part of it, man, is the availability at home. And people are not going out in public as much again. So,
yeah, I mean, everyone, say what you will about the I guess the choice to make that dual release for day and day on HBO Max for the first 30 days and in theaters. I mean, for consumers,
horrible choice.
For I would say for the industry, it is a terrible, terrible choice because they are losing out on so much money because of all the extra piracy that's going on, especially everything that happened with Black Widow and Scarlett Johansson, and possibly Emma Stone and the rest of them. But I will say, for consumers, this is probably the best thing that could ever happen to a consumer when it comes to consuming media. and that's just from a consumer standpoint, because we are given the option to watch these, movies in the theater. We all went to go see it in the theater multiple times, and or watching it at home. So now, I've had my theater fix. If someone at home or like any of my friends ever wanted to watch it, like I would recommend them going to the theater. But if they're just like, hey, I'd rather just watch it at home, I'm not really like, in the theater mood. It's like, okay, you know what? That's fine. You can always watch on HBO Max. But for consumers, this is probably the best thing that's ever happened to consumers when it comes to this stuff. It's almost as good as Game Pass on Xbox, because it's so consumer friendly, but it does hurt the head honchos in the long run. So I'm curious to see how the rest of these movies are going to pan out, because I think Warner Brothers released a tweet, or it was from Samba TV or something, where they said that I believe Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat, was the #1 most streamed new movie, Warner Brothers movie of this year that happened at home. And I think Suicide Squad is right there at second place. So that
sounds about right.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, oh, Mortal Kombat, really? Not Godzilla versus Kong? Or I'm like, hey, I mean, or In the Heights, what happened? Like, oh my God. That's another, conversation.
A musical, it's going to be tough to beat.
It is. Yeah.
Action movie.
Yeah. And especially for a musical that came out in 2005. I mean, like, for us as, cinephiles or what have you, like, we know who these people are. And, even when you guys were talking about Taika Waititi, it's like, we know who they are. And everyone at Leo's, press screening knew who they were. But like, I guess you could say the average consumer does not know Taika
They're like,
Waititi.
oh, who's that?
Everyone's like, I love it when people gasp in movie theaters. It shows how invested and how like in sync everybody is with, especially when Ratcatcher saw, Peacemaker kill, or quote unquote kill, Rick Flag. And by the way, a really quick shout out before we get into our scores here. That the fight scene, like bouncing off of Peacemaker's helmet, that was amazing.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. Shot. Very nice shot. Like props to James Gunn for getting that together.
His beacon of freedom, is that what he called it?
He said he'd eat a bunch of dicks on the beach for liberty.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought you were Peacemaker. He's like, yep, I'll kill every man, woman, and children. He's like, don't know. He's like, I don't care who I have to kill to get peace. I'm like, oh my God.
What a perfect character to bring out in this day and age.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask, so what do you guys now think that, and again, I'm just not bringing this up, and I do apologize, but for John Cena, what do you guys now think then, now that we've seen his performance? Obviously, we can all agree, league's better than Fast and Furious 9. But what do you think of him as Peacemaker and what it means for the, I guess it's the prequel? Well, because we know that he dies, but now that it's a prequel, or would you rather have seen like Ratcatcher or Bloodsport or someone else in that prequel role?
Well,
like,
coming from someone who doesn't usually like John Cena, I thought he killed it just because he was so easy to hate that character. Kind of like some Homelander vibes, just fighting for the extreme version of your country.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't care what anybody has to say or what anybody does. He's going to get what he wants, which is his country coming out on top. And I think that's really interesting for a TV series. Like they can do quite a bit there, especially on HBO Max, where they can go all out with the rated R and everything. Yeah, definitely. Leah, what about you? What did you think of John Cena's performance? And do you think that he can carry the Peacemaker show?
Real quick. So is that going to be a prequel? Because that post credit kind of made it look like it's a follow up to this.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be a follow up. Because I was confused too, because we initially thought he died, but
and then in the post credit he comes back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
In the hospital bed.
Wait, no, I thought that was Rick Flag.
No, that was Peacemaker. In the bed, in the hospital bed.
Oh my god! I thought that was Rick Flag.
Mixing up the buff white dudes. I understand.
No, I could have sworn I thought, because they said that they mentioned his heart, because we saw the piece going through his. That was Peacemaker?
That was Peacemaker in the hospital.
He got shot in the throat.
Oh, man. I thought that was Rick
Peacemaker
Flag.
got shot in the throat.
That's okay. Yeah.
He died, though.
Yeah, okay. So I thought Peacemaker died and then Rick Flag survived.
I love that, by the way. I love that Bloodsport took his advice and made a smaller bullet to go through his bullet.
That was
so
nice.
good.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Really, really good. But yeah, we've been talking here for a while. Let's get out of here. I don't want to take up too much of Leo's time. But let's get into scores really quick. You guys know how we do it here. So I guess I will pass it over to Leo. What would you give the Suicide Squad, and where does it rank among your DCEU ranking?
All right, so I've kind of calmed down a little bit. I'm gonna go with the real score I got bubbling in the head now. 8.5 out of 10. And I would actually rate this the best. I might even go with it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I got you.
And rate this the best DCEU installment thus far, for me at least.
Yeah. Okay. Devin, what about you?
Yeah, I was right there as well. I'm going with like an 85, right in that range. As far as ranking amongst the others, do we count Joker in the DCEU?
I would say no, just because it's kind of like
connected.
It's a standalone.
It's not. It's a standalone film.
Because that would be my top, but yeah, I mean, I think this might be my top as well. It's either this or Shazam for me.
Okay, yeah. For me, this is definitely my top 5 for me. It is number 1, right behind Man of Steel, then Shazam, then Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then Wonder Woman, the original. Can't really vibe with the 84, but yeah, those are like my top 5. I could probably shuffle around because I like Leo said, I really did enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League. I thought it was, it was a bit lengthy, but it really just opened up my eyes. And we never, if you would have told us this 2-3 years ago, no one would have believed you because they ignored it for so long. And, there's a lot of people out there fighting for David Ayer's version as well. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. So, it is what it is there. But yeah, that pretty much concludes our review of the Suicide Squad. Wanted to thank Leo again for coming on last minute, notably, because I wasn't entirely sure what his schedule was looking like. But, I'll be glad to have him here, to have him join us on this really, really fun review. So for me, just really quick for my my score on Letterboxd, I gave it a 4.5 stars. So I think that goes around maybe the B+, more sort of the A- range. Like I said, I couldn't really find too many issues with this movie. It was issues, but smaller things that didn't really matter in the long run. But I just had a hell of a time watching it, and I can't wait to bring this puppy home and add it to the collection. So please, Warner Brothers, DC, if you're out there listening, make more rated R films, because they are, every single rated R film that they have made, people have loved. We had Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey was great, and Joker. Yeah. And I guess you can also throw in Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition if you wanted to, but no, okay.
No, I was just playing. The Ultimate Edition is miles better than the theatrical, but man, that theatrical was just so bad.
Yeah, it was rough. Very, very rough. But yeah, I feel it was, the Ultimate Edition was a little bit definitely better than the theatrical there for sure. It makes it watchable, at least for me. But like I said before, that does conclude our coverage of the Suicide Squad here. Wanted to go around the podcast here really quick, give Leo a chance to let everyone know where they can find him on the internet and what is coming up on his channel.
Well, thank you so much for having me on again, Christian. It's always a pleasure to collab with you and Devin. You guys, it's always awesome to talk the latest movies with y'all. Really appreciate you letting me come on. But you guys can find me at Geekly Goods on YouTube, and then at Leo.Rydell on both Instagram and TikTok. And then now on Twitter, I am actually rejected_Leo. I've been suspended from my main account, potentially permanently. So go ahead and follow me there. Coming up on the channel, I've got Titans, lots of Titans this week.
Yes.
Let's see what else is coming up. Superman and Lois. We're getting into the penultimate episode there. Maybe not Stargirl until we're done with Superman and Lois. And also, What If?
That's right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So come on over, y'all.
Yeah, well, you heard the man there. And what's coming up on our podcast here on Film Optics, we do have our DC Titans episode 1 through 3 coverage that Leo and I actually went through. So that will be dropping on Thursday, August 12th, bright and early for you guys. Of course, if you're listening to this, our Marvel's What If episode 1 coverage will be dropping on Wednesday. And then the following Monday on the, oh my gosh, was that the 14th, the 18th? No. The 16th. So August 16th, we have another double feature review for you guys. We're going to be doing Free Guy and Don't Breathe 2. Watch the first one today. It was pretty good. Definitely some interesting camera shots there and whatnot. At first, I was like, I'm not sure about this. And then it got, I got a little bit farther. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good, but definitely interesting to see what they're going to do with Don't Breathe 2, because
I'm very confused.
And now I'm more confused than ever now that I've seen Don't Breathe 1. But we do have that coming up for you guys. If you are listening to this, I am technically MIA as of right now because I am recovering from getting my wisdom teeth taken out. So, like I said, this will be up on Monday, August 9th. For you guys out there listening. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optics. That is Optics with an X. That was Devin, Leo, and my name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.